back to Atypical Talk. This is a podcast where we have conversations that illuminate the intersection of faith, culture, and the common spaces of our humanity. I'm Abby.
I'm Joel.
I'm Brooke.
And we are recording this in the new year. It's finally 2026. So what are you guys watching and reading in the new year?
Yeah, new year, new me. No, not really. Not at all. My wife and I just got back from vacation, and I got to read a bunch on vacation, and so it was a really great time to read some new books. Some books that I really loved. I read a book called Searching for Sunday by Rachel Held Evans, which was really beautiful and a good look at the church and what it is and what it could be through her personal story. I read a book called With by Skye Jitani, who's a great podcaster at the Holy Post podcast, but he wrote a book about how God wants us to view life with him, not under him or for him. So it was really great in that way too. And I also got to, this is the coolest thing, I got to read an advanced reader's copy of my friend and Bridgeway's friend Marty Solomon, his new book.
Oh, awesome.
So it comes out in April, and the publisher sent me an advanced reader's copy, and it still had some spelling errors in it. And it was really under the radar, kind of cool, but it was just it's a really important work, and I'm so excited for it to get out to the world. And we're actually at Bridgeway. We're going to host the launch party release day event for Marty and his book. So he'll be here in Kokomo. So that's really cool. So I got to read that as well. So yeah, there's some of the things I'm reading. And then also, since my wife and I were away without our children for a few days, we actually got to binge a TV show. We haven't done that in a long time.
Yeah.
Together, we watched this show called The Pit on HBO Max, and it's like ER in 2025, 2026, and it was so awesome, so well done, and so I'm thinking about just emergency medicine all the time and thinking about emergency rooms right now because that's what we watched.
Oh, fun. What about you, Brooke?
For my reading, I just started a book called My Friends by Frederick Backman. I have not read any of his books before, but so far it's pretty good. I'm only I think 10 chapters in, but it's pretty good. And then I've also been reading 40 Days to a Joy-Filled Life, which is more of a devotional thing that I started the year out doing, and it's been really great for me. We are watching, I feel like this is always a loaded question because it's we never really are watching much because we have so much going on, but we have started watching The Goldbergs, which is just an older.
It's really great.
Oh my gosh. I used to watch it with my parents, and I never finished the whole series because I moved out before it was over. And so Matt and I just started watching it a couple weeks ago, and every time we watch it, we are on the floor rolling, laughing at the show. So it's been really fun.
Is it like Modern Family in the 80s? Is it a family
I would say
sitcom
that,
kind of thing in the 80s? Okay, cool.
Yep.
That's fun.
And it's actually, I didn't realize this when I was younger, but it's done by Happy Madison. Is that a production company?
Billy Madison. Or no, it's not Billy Madison. I'm sorry. Billy Madison's a character by Adam Sandler. So Adam Sandler's behind it.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, I'm reading right now a book called Trust No One by Carrie Beavis. And
it's really close to my Trust in God book. Trust No One. Trust No One by Carrie. Yeah.
But it's a thriller. There's this girl who something happened in her past, and there's basically this serial killer that's following her around saying I know what happened, I know what you did, and is threatening her life, and it's really intense. It started off intense right off the bat, but that's been really good. I've enjoyed that book. And then my husband and I, we just finished watching Welcome to Derry, which is the series about It, Stephen King's
Creepy Clown.
It. Yeah. It's the prequel to the It movies and stuff, and that was really intense too.
I heard it was very gory from the get-go.
Yeah, it was so much more gory than the movies. I did not. There were several times we were covering our eyes because it was disgusting, but
not for me.
Then let's hit the next episode.
But no, it was good. I enjoyed it, and then we're gonna start season 2 of Fallout this week. So then people can talk to me about Fallout because I have several people who've been asking me, and I'm don't talk to me about it yet. Let me watch it. Yep. Okay, so our first topic today, it is a Relevant magazine article titled, "Whose Job Is It to Care for the Poor?" The debate over who should care for the poor often divides Christians along political lines, with conservatives arguing that it's the church's responsibility rather than the government's. However, this argument is flawed because Jesus' command for his followers to care for the least of these doesn't exempt everyone else from their responsibility to help those in need. If America truly wants to be a Christian nation based on political values, caring for the poor through government systems would be a primary objective. While the church absolutely has a responsibility to care for the poor, the reality is that it cannot meet all of society's needs alone. If all 81 million Christian households in America tithe 10% of their median income, they would generate roughly $680 billion annually, a significant amount, but nowhere near the trillions the federal government spends on social welfare programs. This calculation also assumes unrealistic conditions. Most Christians give far less than 10%. Churches have substantial operational costs, and the actual number of committed believers is much smaller than those who simply identify as Christian. So what are your guys' thoughts on this article?
It's like the age-old question, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we're growing up in a stream of Christianity that there was really no social dimension to. It was very much a vertical you and God relationship, and very little to do with the horizontal nature of life with us next to other people. And when I was exposed to different streams of Christianity and hearing more of the social elements, or at least the implications socially about Jesus and the gospel, this was like one of the very first arguments I heard. Well, that's Christians' responsibility. It's not government's responsibility to do that at all, which is just, I love how the article sort of strips that argument away because of just the numbers, the math alone. But I also think it's really interesting too, like in America, where we're really, people are not separate from the government. It's like we the people. We live in a democratic republic where we represent our country, and there's not a king, but like there's someone who represents us as people. Like, I don't really understand the divide between thinking government should not, Christians should, or churches should, when like it's all one thing, because we're a part of our country as well, and Christians are as well. So I've just never quite grasped that whole argument, well, the church should be doing this and the government shouldn't be involved with it at all, when I like my trash being picked up, and I like having police officers and fire services available for our family as well, and there's tax dollars that go to those services to make it happen. Heck, I even like libraries, right? And that's a very socialist enterprise if you really want to look at it, right? It's tax dollars, public money going for these services. And I want some of my tax dollars to go towards building a society where everybody has a chance, and if people fall through the cracks, they can actually get some assistance to get to the next stop, to lift themselves out of poverty in these situations. And I'm a Christian who's a part of America, who has a government that I represent, through my vote and things like that as well. And so, the divide makes very little sense to me the more that I live in it. And when I think about if I'm going to pay taxes, I want them to go to things like this, to make a more just society, and to help those any way that I can, right? We want to serve and help the least of these. And if I do that through my personal giving and generosity, but if my tax dollars can go and make a difference and fill that gap as well, heck, I want my tax dollars doing that as well. So the math doesn't math. And not only that, I want it to happen through any avenue that's possible. I want people to have dignity and to have a path forward, and I want children to be fed. And, if it takes tax dollars to do that, heck yeah, tax me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I want it to happen through any avenue possible. And I think that happens through the church, yes, and it can happen more through the church than it is right now. But I also know it's going to take more than that as well. So that's how I think about it.
Yeah. I hear an argument from a lot of people that aren't churchgoers saying, churches shouldn't exist unless they're out here helping people, which I totally get. I think Bridgeway does a great job of, helping out our community and supporting organizations that do. But those people who aren't churchgoers, maybe they need to look at, what can my money be going towards? If you don't want to give to churches and be, part of that, then maybe you look directly at the homeless shelters and things like that. Those organizations that are helping the community, and give towards those if you want, your money to go towards something like that.
Yeah, I totally agree. I don't feel like I have much more to add on to that. Sorry, guys.
I think on that point, I think it's really interesting, though, that Christians, if you segment out American culture, Christians are the most generous people, and church-going Christians are the most generous people, right? And I love the idea that, and we can continue to be that and not just talk about it, because it's one thing just to like wag a finger at, well, I don't want to give to this, or this is a big problem, we need to make sure churches give to this. But churches on the whole are very generous, and Christians are very generous, and we can shine a bright light in the way that we serve our community and bless our community. And if you don't want to give to a church to make it happen, here's a pastor on a microphone saying, don't give towards a church, but like give towards the issue, and let's like get our hands dirty for the common good of our community. And we might not agree on the resurrection of Jesus, and that's okay, but I still want to see people in my community fed, and I want to see children taken care of, and I want to see people given opportunities to lift themselves up out of poverty, and anything we can do together is a beautiful thing.
Definitely.
Yeah. Our next topic today, it's a Today Show article titled "Restaurant Staff Cancels Holiday Party, Gives Funds to Coworker Adopting a Baby." At a First Watch restaurant in Naples, Florida, the staff made an extraordinary decision to cancel their holiday party and redirect those funds to help their coworker Norman Vales and his wife Alicia adopt a baby. General Manager Brendan Tompkins announced the surprise during a staff meeting, explaining that the team felt supporting Norman's adoption journey was more important than having their celebration. The emotional moment captured in a viral TikTok video showed Norman overcome with tears as his coworkers erupted in cheers and applause. Norman and Alicia Vales have struggled for years to have a child and recently connected with a 1-year-old girl in Honduras available for adoption. However, international adoption comes with significant costs, including 2 separate trips to Honduras and the couple's savings having been depleted with loan applications denied. They had started a GoFundMe campaign to raise $4,000 for additional adoption expenses, which has since received tremendous community support following the viral video. The story reached First Watch CEO Chris Tomaso, who responded by announcing that the company would replenish the Naples location's holiday party budget so the team wouldn't have to sacrifice their celebration after all. He also promised something special for Norman, telling him, "We know you're going to be a great dad." The Valeses expressed being completely blown away by the generosity of their First Watch family and the broader community, calling the donations life-changing gifts as they prepare to welcome their daughter home. I saw this on TikTok, and I thought it was such a beautiful story. What did you guys think of it?
I was so glad to read this story, and I went back and watched the video about it as well, and it was just so uplifting in a time where I really needed to see some positivity, and I just wish we had more stories like this. I thought that was really awesome and just very selfless of them as, they saw their coworker going towards something, and it really obviously is something meaningful, being adoption, and I loved this story. I thought it was really sweet.
Mm-hmm.
I just wanted to eat at First Watch after this, so I think it's good marketing.
Yeah, sure.
No, I haven't had that, but I've never been there before. I've driven by a bunch of First Watch, they're like breakfast lunch places.
Okay, I've never heard of it.
The main thing that I think stood out to me was just just this reminder that love is sacrificial.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Love is costly. You can say I feel love towards somebody. You can say I feel pity over somebody's situation. In Christianese speak, we're all bless their heart kind of thing, or oh, isn't that so sad? Pray for them kind of thing. But love from this family of coworkers was for them to be like, we don't need this party this year. What if we use those resources for these people that we love, and to help them get to this thing that is their heart's desire, and having a child and being parents. And so just another reminder that love is costly. Love is always self-sacrificial. It will always look like losing on the outside. But you actually see it's beautiful, and it's better than you could ever imagine on the other side. And when Jesus says, it's recorded in Acts that Jesus says that it's better to give than to receive, he was actually onto something, right? And here we are just even talking about this act of sacrifice and generosity, and we're smiling and thinking how uplifting it is because it's just better in that way.
Yeah.
I also love that, like, when the CEO heard about this, they just doubled down and they gave them the party, budget as well. But they didn't do the act knowing that, right? There was an act of like trusting God's goodness and trusting that this was the right thing to do. And they were blessed on the other side. So they didn't do it because they knew that was coming. But I love that, like, the wink inside of that like it is truly better than to give than to receive. And there is this other blessing on the other side of it. You don't know it and you can't see it. But in my life, that's just the story. Like, you do something that's sacrificial, something that costs you, and then you're like, oh my gosh, I can't believe how beautiful this was on the other side. Yeah. And I'm not saying that, like, when you give money to something, then God will leave you a mysterious envelope in your mailbox with the exact money, the next day or something like that. But there's often just these incalculable blessings that come to being generous and open-handed and being a loving person. Yeah. And I think that's just exemplified here. And I would like an omelet from First Watch now.
Yeah, I thought it was a great story. So have you guys ever won a contest or a competition, and what did you win?
Well, you guys, actually, I think I've mentioned this on the podcast before, but when I was 5, I did win a Dorothy lookalike contest out of 65 little girls.
Dorothy from Wizard of Oz.
Of course. Sorry, I should have said that.
Was this based off of the movie? Dorothy, when you say Dorothy lookalike.
Yeah. So they used to have RIP to the Chesterton, Indiana Wizard of Oz festival that they had every year. And they would always do a Dorothy lookalike contest, and there were different age groups. And so you'd get up on stage and every little girl would be given a line from the movie. Mine was lions and tigers and bears. Oh my!
That's a classic.
Classic,
It's a good one.
And and I won. I got a little Dorothy trinket jewelry holder thing. And that was it. But it was really cool. It was fun. And then when I was in 6th grade, somebody put on they called it Mac Idol, because I went to Mechanical.
Oh, man.
So Play on American Idol. And they did an elementary one, a middle school one, a high school one, and then there was like an overall winner. And I was not the overall winner, but I was the middle school winner, and I felt really cool after that. I do have a plaque that
What did you
says,
sing? What did you sing?
Our Lips Are Sealed, but the Hillary Duff, Haley Duff version from 2004.
Not the Go-Go's.
Not the Go-Go's.
Wow.
Oh my
I know.
gosh.
You really couldn't be cooler.
Honestly.
I think back to, I was thinking about this, and I think I won 2 things the exact same year, and I don't think I've won anything since. But I was in 8th grade, and I went to it was called a D1 basketball camp for my school at the time, and it was just like a week-long basketball camp. And I won a free throw competition of the whole camp. And it was one of those where you just literally lined up in a big line, and if you missed a free throw, you were out of the competition. Well, I hit 27 free throws in a row.
No
and
way.
I ended up winning, which was also just funny because I wasn't a great free throw shooter when I played. I just got on a hot streak, and I remember it was 27, and I remember it was me and one kid that went back and forth 4 shots, and he finally missed, and I was trying to play it cool when I won this free throw competition. But, there's that, and then that same year I was in a band in 8th grade, and it was called All of the Above, and we were a Christian band because that's the only place you could play was Christian youth group places. So we spelled it all of the with 2 E's to make it like King James. Yeah, really cool, right? And we won a battle of the bands.
Oh my
and
gosh.
It was the heights of the heights. I mean, it was like the Grammys for me. It just couldn't get cooler.
Can we find that music somewhere?
It is somewhere, hopefully hidden in deep, dark places on the internet. But
if anybody out there has it, send it in.
It was 8th grade. Joel trying to live through, making the music sound dramatic and emotional when he hadn't really gone through anything dramatic or emotional.
Yeah.
Oh man. Yeah. So that's my big year of winning. Haven't won anything in 25 years.
Oh my
Oh
gosh.
man, not even a March Madness tournament?
Oh no, not at all. What about you, Abby?
So the first one I don't even remember because I was a baby. But
you worked
it was
so hard at it.
Yeah. It was a crawling race, and I won that race and won my parents a year's worth of diapers or something crazy like that, which
Good benefit
saved
for
a
them.
lot of money.
That was a win for your parents for sure. Yeah.
So I had that, and then in college, I actually was looking at Facebook memories, and it was like exactly a year ago. I was in a 24-hour theater festival because I was in a theater directing class. And so someone would write the script, and then I would have to get some actors together and direct a show in front of people and have it all done within 24 hours. And I won like best overall show and stuff. And I was so pumped about that because I did not think I was good in this class. I did not think I could direct or anything like that. Yeah, but it was so much fun. Yeah, it was a fun experience. I was exhausted because I had to stay up for 24 hours doing this. Yeah,
So
it was lots of fun though.
That is super cool.
Yeah.
In high school, you said you did that?
No, in college.
Oh, college.
Yeah.
That's amazing. That's really awesome.
Yeah, because for my senior project, I did a live radio drama, and my professor told me, he goes, you have to take the theater directing class if that's going to be your senior project. And so I was like, oh no, I don't want to do that, but it ended up being a fun class.
It worked out in the end.
Yep.
Very cool.
So our final topic today
It's
is
a tone shift.
Yeah, it is a tone shift.
Yeah.
It's a religion news article titled "On the Sunday After Renee Good's Killing, Minnesotans Grieve Through Worship and Song." In Minneapolis, faith communities gathered for worship and mourning on the Sunday following the fatal shooting of Renee Good, a 37-year-old mother killed by an ICE agent during mass deportation operations. At Calvary Lutheran Church, Reverend Babette Chapman delivered a sermon challenging what she called empire, drawing parallels between ancient oppressors and current immigration enforcement. While referencing Good's final words to the agent, "It's okay, sweetie, I ain't mad at you." The federal government has characterized the shooting as self-defense, but Good's death has sparked widespread protests and outrage across the city and nation. Following worship, hundreds gathered at St. Paul San Pablo for a singing vigil that marched through Minneapolis streets, with participants chanting songs like "This is for our neighbors who are locked inside, together we will abolish ICE." The event reflected the city's organized resistance effort, with faith leaders and community members describing their response as a natural extension of caring for neighbors. As the marchers sang, "We grieve together, stop the deportations," the sound of whistles pierced the air, community members alerting others to unmarked vehicles believed to be transporting ICE agents through their streets. So, we're not going to make this political, or at least try not to, but setting aside those views, as Christians, how should we view these current situations that we're in right now?
I think the first response that I have to it, that I think it was exemplified in the church services that we read about in the article, is just grieving, and using a biblical word is lament, is saying like something is broken and wrong and devastatingly cruel and evil and not the way it's supposed to be. God, this sucks. Like, that's kind of the tone of it. And it's not going around what's wrong, but it's staring at it and being like, we're feeling this. People in our country are experiencing this, and this is not the way it's supposed to be. God, where are you, and what should we be doing differently, and how do we get to the other side of it? Mm-hmm. And I think that's like my first response, is just sadness and grief and lament. I mean, I unfortunately, I didn't know what I was watching at the time on the day of Renee Good's murder, and I watched her be shot in the face and killed on video. And then I saw clips of that video, or at least screenshots of that video, nonstop for the next couple of days, and I don't want to become desensitized to seeing these things, whether it be Charlie Kirk's assassination or an assassination, or not assassination, but a murder of Renee Good. I don't want to be desensitized to this. It's madness, and I don't feel more free because of it. And so I commend these churches and these church leaders for holding space for grief, but also not letting it stop there, and also not becoming a monster in order to defeat a monster, like not preaching, let's go hang all the ICE agents, or like just spilling out anger over anger, and anger turning to hatred and more violence in that way too. I mean, gosh, hearing the last words of Renee Good saying, "It's okay, sweetie, I ain't mad at you," like, that is a devastatingly beautiful and challenging and healing thing to remember in the face of all of this as well. So, yeah, I mean, and this could be my own maybe political biases or just the people that I hang out with or the things that I read and see. Like, I don't see or know any people that are like, yeah, what we're actually seeing with mass deportations and moms and kids being ripped out of their homes and off the street or being picked up after they go to church. All those things that we're all seeing with our own eyes. I don't know anybody who's like, yeah, that's what I want. That's the America that I want to live in. I want to see masked police type officers ripping people away from hotels or at Home Depot picking. I mean, no, nobody wants that. We have a problem in this country with immigration where and it's on both parties' backs that we just have not had a good system of understanding who's in our country or having an orderly way that people come in and out. But I don't know anybody that voted for cruelty or wants cruelty. And it seems to be in what's going on right now. And you can disagree with me. And I might have my blind spots. It seems to me that cruelty is not a bug, but it's a feature of the current model. And that's not, it doesn't make me feel more free. It doesn't make me feel more safe. It actually makes me feel less safe. And if I'm supposed to be a person of faith who's caring for the least of these, like we already talked about, and people that might be vulnerable or marginalized, unlike me as a white man, then I'm not okay with it. And we've got to get to another way of doing this where it's not like this. So, and again, that's saying that all with, I am certain that many people that are working for ICE are going to a job and they don't go to work saying I'm going to be cruel today. I look more on the policymakers and the politicians and the government leaders who have set up this system, that have made it to where it's now, I think, cruel and dark and doesn't look like America. It just doesn't look like the America that I feel like we aspire to be all together, right and left, in between. So sad. I'm sad. I'm angered by what I can see with my own two eyes and be like, this is or there are two sides of this issue kind of thing. But then also, like, it's just a call. It's just a reminder to me to, like, look out for others and to look where there's people that I can help, and how can I help make them feel more safe, and how can I protect them, and how can I not live into that narrative of empire, but more of God's kingdom in that way. So sorry, that was like word vomit, and I'm trying not to talk for 20 minutes and get canceled 6 times by the end of this. But yeah, I mean, I'm sad, angered, and just want to live and tell a better story, and I want better for my kids and the country they're going to grow up into as well.
Yeah. One thing I have to keep reminding myself, like, no matter what side of the argument you're on, like, all the people involved are people that are made by God and loved by God, and they're flawed people. Like, people make mistakes. People are
like
gonna,
me, like you, right?
People are gonna do stupid things, and people are gonna, make mistakes and stuff. And it's hard to not get angry about everything. And, but I just have to remember, like, these are people that are loved by God, and that I need to have more grace sometimes. But yeah, it's hard to not be angry about all of this.
Yeah. And I think also, I mean, it's hard to not be angry, but then the other side of the coin, like, for me, sometimes I just want to disassociate and, like, not be informed.
Yeah.
Not because I don't want to move forward and do good with what I know, but just because, like, sometimes it's just too much. But I also don't want to become desensitized, and I don't want these stories that unfortunately seem to be happening more frequently to just become another story that I forget, but, like, something that I can learn from, we can learn from, and hopefully move towards a better life, better America, whatever that looks like. But yeah, it's hard to balance the two as far as just being informed, but also not becoming desensitized to what's happening.
Yeah, for sure. Well, that's it for this episode of Atypical Talk. You can email your questions to atypicaltalkpod@gmail.com. And you can follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok to get updates when new episodes go live. You can follow us at Atypical Talk Pod. Pod. You can also subscribe on your favorite podcast platform to get updates when new episodes go live. We hope that these conversations today have helped you think wider, love deeper, and partner with God to bring the up there down here in your everyday life. Thanks for listening.